Hi y'all, it's Miss O. I'm going to go through this presentation with you who are at home virtually, so that way it makes a little bit more sense. So in my class, I like to do what's called sketch notes. Sketch notes are taking notes while someone's lecturing that are full of doodles and images instead of just words. This helps you to understand what's going on a little better, and it also helps you to remember. The color and the picture makes way more sense in our brains than just words do. It doesn't require anybody to have high drawing skills. It's just a summary and simple ideas with shapes and connectors to help the text make more sense. Sketch notes are a much easier method of taking notes, and like I said, it helps you to remember because it's a form of creative expression. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write the word ruler and then draw just a simple little sketch of a ruler. So that's going to be like this little rectangle down here at the bottom of my screen. It doesn't have to be a full 12 inches or anything like that. Just get you a little rectangle and put 4 lines to start and then a number 1. This line right here isn't always at the front of a ruler, but it is a lot of the time, and this is our starting point. You'll notice after the 1, we have only 3 marks until the next spot. That's because these are your 1/4 inch marks. So here, this is a 1/4 of an inch. This is a 1/2 inch. This is 3/4 of an inch and then a full inch. Sometimes, most of the time, on your rulers there are going to be lots of other little lines, and those could be 1/8, they could be 1/16. It just matters. It just depends on how many little lines there are between your inches. So for your notes, I want you to draw that ruler, and then I want you can put a pen, you can put a star, whatever you need to do to help. And then I want you to write 1/4 over this one, 1/2 over this one, and then 3/4 here. So rulers are used to help measure. They also help you to create straight lines and edges, and it will even help you create a straight, even border. That's something that we're really going to be focusing on in my class this year, is making sure that you know how to make a straight border, so that way when I'm at, or when you put it in a frame, it's even and it looks nice and crisp and doesn't take away from the image. So we're going to do a little project using our ruler today. I want you to have a piece of paper. Doesn't matter what kind, doesn't really matter what size. It can be a half sheet, it can be a full sheet, totally up to you. But what I want you to do is on the back, I want you to write your first and last name, today's date, and then measure your paper and tell me the size of your paper underneath that. It should be set up in this general format, so that way you get in the habit of labeling your artwork, giving us a start date, and a title, which is kind of taking the place of this right now, but I want you to get in the habit of measuring and understanding how the ruler works, so that's why I threw this in here for today. Okay, back to your notes. So we're going to talk about orientation. Orientation is the direction of your artwork, or the way that art is meant to be displayed. There are 2 kinds of orientation in art: horizontal or landscape. This is where you would draw a picture. So you might write the word orientation and then draw a picture of a landscape. Here I've got little houses and trees. It can be whatever you want it to be. Landscapes are a view of the world outside around you. And write landscape above or below it. Those are going to be the ones that are going horizontal, long ways like this. The other orientation is vertical or portrait. So those are the ones that are going up and down, and I drew a goofy little guy to remind me that that's what portrait means. So when you think of orientation, you're going to think of houses long and flat, or portraits tall and skinny. Now let's look at creating a border. From the bottom of your paper, I want you to measure 1/2 inch from the bottom on the left, middle, and right. As you can see, I have 3 marks. This is going to help me to be able to create a straight line that is evenly spaced all the way across. You notice I've got my 1/2 inch, which my ruler was starting to get faded, so I had to use it starting at the 6 inch mark. But I have this 1/2 inch here. I'm going from the bottom of the page 1/2 inch up. It would be the same here. If I slid my ruler over, it would be from the 1/2 inch mark up to the 6, from the 1/2 inch mark up to the 6. So each of these are a 1/2 inch from the bottom of the page. I'm going to turn my page and repeat, going all the way down the side. See, you can see my dots here, and I've made 3 more 1/2 inch marks across the page. I'm going to continue this process all the way around my paper, doing 3 1/2 inch marks consistently spaced all the way around the page. Now, it doesn't really matter if you've got it, an inch off, or if it's directly in the middle or anything like that. The key is having 3 different spots to be able to check and make sure that you've actually measured a full 1/2 inch all the way around. We're going to do it one more time, and at this point you should have all 4 sides marked with the 3 1/2 inch marks. Now I have a little video I'll show you where you're taking those marks and you're actually tracing over the top of those lines, and it's going to give me a perfectly spaced 1 inch border. I'm matching up those marks. And now you can see I'm going to do it one more time, match them up, and then I'm going to follow that line to give me a border edge all the way around. Now, you should have a border that goes completely all the way around 1 inch. It's even, it looks like a white frame. Now we're just going to have a little fun with our ruler. What I'd like for you to do is pick an orientation: vertical, portrait, horizontal, or landscape. And then from the bottom of your page, on the left side of your paper, just like I have here, I would like for you to measure 1 inch. 1 inch from the bottom of this line up here and make a little mark. Now, measure 2 inches from the top of the right of your border. So if this is your paper, I want you to take your ruler and measure 2 inches down. Guys, if at any time this doesn't make any sense, pause your video and send me a message, and let's see if I can help clear things up. I know it's not real easy when you're not here, and art is a very abstract idea and concept, so it's kind of hard when you can't see it right in front of you, but I'm here to help you, and I'm a very abstract person, so if at any point I just don't make sense, it's totally fine to say, hey, I don't understand. Okay, we're going to keep going. This time I want you to turn your paper to the right, so clockwise, and measure on that bottom line 3/4 of an inch. So here's our paper. You're going to measure 3/4 of an inch from the left. Put a little dot. And then move your ruler over to the right edge of the paper and put the 1/2 inch mark on that border and measure 1/2 inch. Let's keep the paper where we are, and we're going to go to the top of the page. Here's your paper again, and measure 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the right line. Here's your 1/4 inch spot, and you choose left or right. Go from the bottom of that line, and let's measure an inch. So let's go from here's your paper. From the bottom of this line, measure 1 inch up. Make sure you put a dot every time you measure, so that way we have these little hashes all the way around your paper. Let's turn your paper all the way around. Flip it to where this side is now over here. And let's measure on that bottom line 2 3/4 of an inch. So my ruler on the screen doesn't quite go that far, but it's going to be about right here. Remember, the 3/4 of an inch spot is the third line in between your numbers. We're going to do 2 and 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch across that bottom of your paper. And then on that same line, let's go from the right side and measure 4 inches. So find the 4 on your ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot. Okay, now we're going to measure 3 inches from the bottom of your line. If you haven't turned your paper yet, go ahead and turn it all the way around so we're working from the other end. And you're going to measure 3 inches from the left side of your paper, 3 inches over, and put a little dot. And then on that same line, take your ruler and move it to the right edge and measure 2 1/2 inches. Put a dot. Let's keep it where we are. Don't rotate your paper or anything like that this time. And on that right side of your line, I want you to come from the top and measure 2 1/4 inches down. 2 1/4 should be about right here. And then on that same line, go from the bottom and measure 1 inch up. Now let's rotate one time this way. Rotate your paper one time around this way. And on the bottom line, I want you to measure 3/4 of an inch from the left point of your border. And then do the same on the right side of your border. So 3/4 of an inch from the right side. Rotate around one more time. And we're going to measure 1/4 of an inch. First long line from your border on the left. And then from the right side, let's measure 3 1/2 inches. That same bottom line. Keep it where you are. And on the right line, let's measure 1 inch from the top. This is your inch mark, 1 inch down the little mark right here on the side of your paper. And then on that same line, measure from the bottom 1/2 inch. So here's your paper again. You're going to measure 1/2 inch up. You're going to go long line between the numbers as your half-inch mark. Now that we have all these random dots around the border of our paper, what I want for you to do is to connect those dots in any way that you like. Because each of our papers are different, and because we're turning in different things, you started at portrait or you started at landscape, you should have completely different images. Would like for you to use a black pen to make these lines. A Sharpie works really well if you're worried about blending, especially if you're using markers. Black markers might bleed into the color later. So if you're going to use a marker to fill in your colors, you might consider using a permanent marker. Otherwise, any black marker will do. And I want you to create lines. We're going to add contrast and variety by making some lines thick and some lines thin. Then, like I said, you're going to come back in and fill it with color. These are 2 examples of the finished product that I have made for you. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Remember, for it to look like you've actually measured correctly, I should have an even border all the way around, regardless of what size your paper is. Hope you have lots of fun, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.